listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. So it's a lot that they do as far as corruption and psychological warfare and spycraft. What they will tell you is to, hype it all up and come in as the big investigator and, worship us and worship what we do and all that, and tell you though to catch one of these type of criminals, we have to A, B, or C, could take 10, 20, 30 years. It's all bullshit. Somewhere along the way, possibly, but from what I see, they're just a bunch of clowns. And they're playing a self-enrichment game out. And they'll do stuff like, oh, we said something, we had to remove. They'll write up a report that they had to move their informant or some child because they were afraid that the guy or gal was going to do something to them. But it's bullshit. It's just like that's supposed evidence, but it's not. It's just hollow statement. It's something, see, it's about them. It's not about me. And that's the way they write the reports, that they had to do this and they had to do it. They didn't have to do anything. They're paid by criminals to do it. Most of them are likely sex criminals that developed a system that essentially says, over here is the sex criminal and over there is not the sex criminal. And if you don't agree with us, then you'll be a sex criminal. That's it in a nutshell, to tell you the truth. So, they also have access to a ton of psychology, forensic, psychology of the criminal, that kind of thing. So what they're constantly doing is operating to put that into their victim's life, something that looks like that. And over time, if they were to continue to imprint the person, especially if they didn't know what was going on, they would become it. Again, I'm sure they did something to my friend in that house, in that apartment that she was living in Santa Fe, so that she would curse that for a second. Now here, this plate in front of me is part of it. Oh, and here comes the fire truck. Now it could be Satan, but I cursed that, and if they're part of it, yes, they'll be cursed. But if it's just someone else that put that plate or put a spell on that plate, that's who gets cursed. Now, don't think if you're a police officer operating this thing that I'm telling you you're off the hook because you didn't know anything. I doubt that you don't know anything. The world's that fallen. Curses add up, all of you. I guarantee you're going to get low. You're going to be lower down in life, and you're not going to have that extra ability to do things like you do now. Again, I'm not cursing your, and again, I don't curse you direct. God has to operate it. Your basic sustenance. That's not happening. Now, if God does it, God could do that, right? Because God's shrinking everything. Some people are broke, that type of thing. Some people ate their gun. Some people jumped out the window. Well, sometimes when you curse me, especially when you do it from my security cameras while watching me, you cause things to fall on the ground and you start laughing, right? Well, when the thing falls on the ground, God says, that's one of them. Just give me time. You're going to fall out a window or something like that, or out of a plane or whatever it is. I'm serious. God's serious. The church is bullshit, man. In other words, they're causing all the issue metaphysically. Is what the Bible actually says is going on. And then they come along and say, give us way to do this to people or to say what we say because we help people over there. The Bible says the opposite. God is not a respecter of persons. Looks like that was a false alarm, too. E422, 75th and frontage. Went past the intersection. Looks like it just spun around and went back. Now they're not checking somebody. They're torturing somebody. And that's part of the anti-police movement. Oh, there is something up there. Maybe it was an extra vehicle or something. Right. Okay. So there is an accident. It looks like. Okay. But then that's Satan also timing me so I become past it. After they've done it, they did it to my girlfriend. They did it to a guy that I was in the Marshal Service with, a Pennsylvania kid, because I could tell he was acting. Okay. And then he did have trouble later in life. So they were targeting him also. Again, he was an honest deputy and knew that everybody else was the devil. that word devils. I didn't know it. I thought he was just saying it, Hated paranoia. And of course it's went away and does go away. But when it's at its peak and crescendo, it caused a lot of disruption in the body, and the endocrine system and all of that just gets off balance. And what's that? The clock, that clock we run on. 100%. They know it, man. It's all criminal psychology, and it's not criminal psychology in the sense that the person they're using on is criminal. It's what criminals, despots use to torture their people into subjection or suicide or killing their neighbor, that kind of thing. Again, it's Pol Pot type stuff in reality, but it's I don't know if you ever studied Pol Pot in the killing fields and the psychology of it, but that's what they're using. Okay. I mean, you're all ignorant. I know that. And you just have these fake games that you play all the time, and they're not games. They're serious psychological warfare and psychological torture, and that's how you play your game out, and how you get rich, and how you laugh at everybody, and you cause disability, and you cause rape and murder and mayhem, and say it's bail reform, like some bullshit like that. Oh, it's construction. Oh, maybe it wasn't a car accident. I don't know. There was some construction over here, and oh no, that's a wrecker. Okay, so it was a car accident. Right. Thank you, friend. I thought it was possibly a construction zone, or maybe I missed because I thought it was a construction vehicle with the red and blues. But it was there's a wrecker up here with the red and blues. Shawnee Mission Park. But that was down on 175th. Oh wait, yeah, 175th. So again, they have all these psychological terms that they'll bring before you, and all of my psychological issues and all this, and they're real time operating those issues. Again, if I were to have my normal life, get married, go to church, buy a house, none of this would be here. They couldn't do this, and they knew that. That's why they blocked it. And they, believe me, they tortured my mother, my brother into a certain form so they could manipulate them. Again, my kids, my wife, or ex-wife. And in fact, they actually twisted me a little bit. And, as far as my ex-wife and my kids, so that, I would think my wife was just nuts. I started waking up, and when I started telling her the truth, she's big. She's like, and that's why she had such a bad childhood. Again, Jesus speaks about how the earth works, and it kills the real Christian. They don't have big homes. They don't have big lives. But it also happens to people that are considered kings and queens with queens and queens, right? Pride, kings and queens within their given society and nationalities. I really don't think the royal family in the United Kingdom is the real royal family. I doubt it. Again, the Scottish didn't believe that either. So again, they'll use all these psychological terms, but why? Because they're operating their victim in a certain way, and that's the way they can describe it to make you believe a lie. No, they're not mistaken. We didn't know that this. You see that new video of Marge? That's pretty much her, right? But it's also these people I speak about. And she's part of it. These bars, whooping up people into violence without actually going over a line, right? They don't say things like me, stay peaceful. They don't say that because they don't want that. 100%. Whew. I wonder if they're open. It might not be open. I don't know. Trying to get to this bank to get an answer on this. I have a pre-selected, but it has my mailbox address, and I don't want to just put it in because I already spoke to somebody at the bank, and he said if you have a couple addresses on an account, it could kick it back. But when I spoke to them, they said go to the branch. The one guy said he thinks they can go in there and change that, so I can use the pre-selected number. I actually got a credit card with this bank, but because they were screwing around with me in Oklahoma, I don't think I had the right identification. I didn't think about it before I got the credit card, applied for it. I think it was this credit card too. The reason it's great, I think it is, I mean, I've read and I'm not sure. They didn't say it, but apparently if your MasterCard, the 3% goes to also Walmart, which is very rare, but it should because, people are always shopping Walmart. But I guess Visa doesn't participate. American Express doesn't, maybe because they're not fans of Walmart. 100%. They think they're better than that. But again, Walmart is Satan sometimes when they're operating these things in there. So that could be an issue. All right, let me get online. They don't look like they're open. Go another day if I have to. Oh, they hack through the cookies, I think. The cookies, I think, and I'm not sure, can they read your stream through the cookies? I think they can. If they send a message to themselves, they can read your stream, right? Right. Your IP, the stream, whatever. 100%. I think that's how they're doing it. And the funny part was, and I don't know how they did. Maybe it's probably if it's like an intelligence type operation. I had two browsers open and I didn't know it, so I cleaned my usual browser and it still was having trouble. But I said, oh, the other browser's closed. As soon as I closed the other browser and changed my VPN location, then I had no problems. So they are hacking. Well, when you put that cookie, you're not allowed to use it for what you're using it for. All of you. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Are they even open? I need to go for a ride anyway. It just doesn't look like they're open. It says they're open till 5. All right, I guess I'll give it a try. Well, stay peaceful. Pray